We just got back from our set championships and we did it, y'all. Let's tell you how it went down. What's up, Illumineers? Charlie here, and I'm just going to do a bit of a different video today. Basically, we had our set championships this weekend and I wanted to reflect on the experience, tell you a little bit about how it went, and really just kind of give my perspective on why I think for the next set championship, if you didn't participate in it, you definitely should. So one thing we've often said on the channel, Mateus and I, is that we're both newbies to trading card games. I collected Pokemon when I was a kid. Mateus played a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, but never anything serious. So really, Lorcana is our first time playing a trading card game, so it's all very new to us, and that's something we obviously want to try and kind of help the community with. If you're new to trading card games, like, how do you play? How do you get involved in Lorcana? Because it is amazing. So when it came to this weekend, the last two weekends with the set championships, it was kind of intimidating for us. We didn't really know what to expect. We didn't know how competitive it was going to be. We didn't know what the atmosphere was going to be like. So yeah, a little bit scared going into it. We had very anxious tummies at both of us, but in the end, we played 3 set championships. We played one at our local game store, so that was 8 people. I didn't do so well in that one. I'll tell you a little bit about that. And then we played 2 more this weekend, actually at new local game stores we'd never been to, or we'd actually been to one of them once. We bought some packs there once. The other one was about an hour's drive away. We had to take a ferry and everything, so it was a bit of a mission to get there, but we went to those. So first set championships was at our local game store, so that's where we play League on a weekly basis. So it was actually only 8 people, so it was a very, very small event. I don't think there were many other, there weren't many other 8 people events, at least in our area. I'm not sure about your areas. So we played there. For that one, I took Steel Song. So Steel Song is the deck I've been playing basically since set 1. It's a deck I absolutely love. I took it to the event. Of the 8 people, 3 of the 7, so because I was the 8th, 3 of the 7 were running red-blue, so I was like, it was always going to be an uphill struggle. In the end, I finished 5th. I lost, of the 3 games I played, because it's only a 3-game format for 8 people, I lost 2 of my games. Yeah, finished 5th on the leaderboard in total. Mateus finished 3rd. He actually made it through to the finals, so the 2 people who won 2 games played each other. And he ended up coming 3rd in points, so he got a Stitch card. And then sort of fast forward to the weekend after, we had 2 more scheduled. So because I'd kind of had my experience with Steel Song and it didn't go too well, I decided to pick up the other deck that I'm kind of comfortable playing, and that is Red Purple Ruby Amethyst. Obviously, it's a very popular deck. I think it's a deck that has a lot of consistency, which is one of the main reasons I was like, okay, I can probably take this. It's also a deck that I think is quite good at going second too. Because you've got rush characters, you can usually respond to what your opponent's played. So it has a lot of upside. So I mean, to be honest, I should have probably taken it to the first event. It's what I was considering, but at the last minute, I was like, no, I'll stick with Steel Song. So I did take Ruby Amethyst, and yeah, I won both of those. Like, honestly, was not expecting it. I was going to be very, very happy with top 4. Would love the card, but yeah, did manage to get 2 championship playmats, so we're going to keep one sealed for the collection, and then Mateus said, since I won it, I can actually use the other one, so I'm going to be taking that with me when I play. Gonna super flex with it. The events themselves, absolutely amazing. Like I said, we were a little bit intimidated. We didn't know what the kind of level of competitiveness would be. We'd certainly seen some events where kind of the same groups of people had always been in the top 4, so they were obviously doing their kind of tour of all of the different local game stores, which is fine. I mean, that's kind of a discussion unto itself about, like, should outsiders be allowed to go to a game store to play for the set championships? I think they should. Obviously, we were kind of that. We didn't do one every day. We kind of limited ourselves just to 3. But yeah, so the first event, so both of the ones that I won, it was 16 players, so that's 4 rounds of Swiss plus top 4. Both of the events, honestly, it could not have been better. Like the group of people, it was like an amazing diversity amongst the group. So there were kids, there were teenagers, there were grown-ups, there were older people, men and women, because I think that's kind of another thing, like, we're gay. Something I think is pretty clear. So, you know, it can sometimes be a very testosterone-y, macho environment. I mean, I know that's a bit funny to say for a card game, but that's kind of like our view of it sometimes. So it was nice walking into a room and there being kind of a nice split of genders, a nice split of ages, and also a nice split of kind of level of expertise. So there were people there who had played in other tournaments, there were people who were locals, there were a couple of people who'd never played in person before, and they showed up because they wanted to win the Stitch. So I think that was really awesome. But the best part was, even the people who were like super competitive, who really, really wanted to win, they were just chill. They were so friendly, they were so nice, and like, we wanted to win, but like, we're not competitive. We were competing because we wanted to win the prizes, because we wanted to collect them. But like, you know, if I lost, I wasn't going to be sad about it. So it was nice that there were kind of people, kind of the same as us, you know, they were playing to win, but they weren't jerks about it. So that was for me one of the most amazing things. Like, there were just some crazy moments, like when I made top 4 on the first day, kind of the top 4, we all sat down at the table ready to play, and everyone put their hands in and just said like, good luck guys, like, so things like that. It was just absolutely amazing. And I think the funny thing was, I don't think anyone would have been sad if someone else had won, which was really, really cool. Like, such a wonderful, wholesome, positive experience. Like, everyone was happy for everyone else to be in the position we were in. Some of the matches, so on the first day, it was a very aggro heavy meta in that store. So my first game was against Steel Song, which I won. Second game was against aggro green purple. Third game was against aggro green purple. Fourth game was Ruby Amethyst. So I actually lost to Ruby Amethyst, and it was the same person that I would go on to play in the final. So I lost that one. And then in the semifinals, I played one of the green purples that I played in the earlier round again. So I got to play another aggro game. And then, yeah, in the final, we played Ruby Amethyst mirror match again. The rematch, I was on the draw, and I managed to win that one 2-1. So the second day, it was a lot more diverse, I would say. So I played Steel Sapphire in the opening round, and then I played a really interesting red-green kind of aggro / evasive build. It was actually a kid. I'm going to give him a shout out. Hi, Octave. So he was playing this really crazy build. It was probably one of the toughest games I played the whole weekend. It was just very, very difficult to deal with evasives if you don't have the answers. Fortunately, and I'll show my deck at the end of the video for those who are curious, but I was running a fishhook, which is obviously Maui's fishhook, which is actually like a really good answer for evasives. So really close game. I barely won it. Octave was a fantastic opponent, and he's also a YouTuber, so if you want to check out his stuff, he's at xfanedits. He told me he mainly does Fortnite content, so if you're into Fortnite, definitely check him out. But Octave, it was a pleasure playing with you. You were a great opponent. Then after that, I played Ruby Sapphire, another really, really difficult matchup, but I managed to pull that off. And then I played into Ruby Amethyst, so it was a different deck every single time. And then we went through to the top 4, and then I played the same red-blue player I played earlier, so I played them again. And then in the final, it was a different Ruby Amethyst player. There were actually 3 Ruby Amethyst decks in the top 4 there. So I played against him again. I was on the draw in the mirror match, but I managed to pull it off. And again, it was GOAT, be prepared. That's what won me the tournament. That's what won me 2 play mats. So that was it. It was crazy. As the kind of the title of this video is, one of the reasons I wanted to do this, especially for people who were like questioning or who didn't go to set championships this time because they were maybe intimidated or they didn't know what to expect. Really what I wanted to do with this video is just encourage you. If you're on the fence about it or you were too intimidated to go, like 100% I recommend you trying to go to at least one set championship. If for nothing else, it's cool to see that different atmosphere, that different part of Lorcana, because obviously there's the collecting, there's the playing casually, but there is obviously, because it's a trading card game, there's going to be that more competitive part of it. So it's really interesting to be part of that. Again, like, I'm not a competitive player. I literally never thought I was going to win 2 of these tournaments, so I'm still a little bit in shock. I'm still super excited about the fact that I did manage to win those, and 2 back to back. So yeah, I would definitely say check it out. Like the crowds, like the people we played with, honestly could not have been more amazing. And it's also the opportunity to check out a different local game store. Like the first one we played, it's only 40 minutes from our house, so we're going to actually go there again for their league night, see some of the people, play them again, because they was such a lovely bunch of people. Obviously the other one, it's a little bit further away, it's a little bit harder to get to, but for sure, next set championships we'll definitely be going back there to play with them, because yeah, everyone was just wonderful. And it wasn't just the players that were wonderful, it was also the organizers were wonderful. It was just honestly one of the most positive experiences we could have had. Like it's not something I've talked about in the channel, but like I am kind of an introvert. I do have social anxiety. So sometimes, you know, going into those new situations, playing with people I've never played with before can be really like intimidating. It can give me a lot of anxiety. But I'm super glad that I did it. I'm super glad that I kind of put myself out there. Like it's always helpful Matthias and I can go together, because then it's at least I know one person in the room. But yeah, take a friend with you if you're in the situation like I am, if you're kind of scared to go alone. But yeah, definitely do it. It was a lot of fun. Got some amazing prizes. And now I guess let me tell you about the deck I played. Okay, so I'll show you the deck really quickly. I'll put links in the description to both my deck and Matthias's deck. He also played Ruby Amethyst. His build was slightly different. Yeah, so check those out, but let's have a look at the cards. So in the 1-drop slot, we have 3 Minnie Mouse, 4 Rafiki. One of the things that I felt after the weekend was that I would really like more 1-drops, so I'd probably put in another 1-drop just to kind of add a little bit more consistency. Just it's always good to have that 1-drop in a lot of games, especially with Mim Snake, cards like that, so I'd probably add one more. But we do have 4 Rafikis. I think this card is super good. It's very good into the aggro matchups, so you can play something like Pinocchio Talkative Puppet on turn 2 to then take out whatever your opponent played on turn 1. Obviously, he's got Challenger 3. 3 is the magic number when it comes to strength, because it can take out so many big threats, so he is there. And then we also have Minnie Mouse, really simply just to have the 1-drop, just so we have the opportunity if we need it to bounce. The 1-3 defense, willpower is again really important. Great into the Amber Steel matchup, so really against any Steel deck, she'll at least survive 1 turn usually. But that's it, pretty standard for the 1-drops. The 2-drops, we have 2 copies of Teeth and Ambition, 2 Pinocchio Talkative Puppet, 2 Cusco, and 4 Madam Mim Snakes. So after the weekend, I feel like Teeth and Ambition was just a card that didn't really do anything for me in most matches. I think I maybe used it once into an aggro matchup where they were protecting their merfolk and not leaving them exerted, so it was useful there. But on the whole, it was just a dead card most of the time, so I'd probably get rid of these 2. Probably add in a 1-drop and maybe another Cusco, again just to have that consistency, just to always try and have that 1, 2, 3 curve. Pinocchio is such a great card. He can exert your opponent's character, so you can play him on turn 2. If you played Rafiki turn 1, you can take them out, which is super powerful. Also really good late game. If your opponent plays a big threat, you can usually exert them with Pinocchio and then hit them with something like Maui. I would pair a lot Pinocchio with the snake or with the fox, trying not to let him get taken most of the time, kind of bringing him back to my hand to replay him, so he's super powerful there. Cusco, just a really good card in the 2-drop slot. The reason to play him is when he's banished, whether it's in a challenge, whether it's Be Prepared, whatever it is, you get a card which is super powerful. And the snake, of course, is just a staple now in Ruby Amethyst decks. She can bring cards like Pinocchio back to you, so you can use it again. I tended to use her more toward the end of the game to bounce things like rabbits and goats, but sometimes, you know, you play a wrong curve on turn 2 to kind of be able to then keep playing. So super good card. Love this card. Very, very flexible, which I think is true of a lot of the cards in this deck. The 3-drop slot, we have a lot. So we have 3 Merlin Crabs, 3 Maleficents, 3 Friends on the Other Side, 3 Minnie Mouse, 4 Madam Mim Fox, and 2 Maui's Fishhooks. So let's start with the top. So Friends on the Other Side, super good card, just to help you with card advantage, just to have more cards than your opponent. I would love, honestly, to run 4, but I just couldn't really find another thing to remove. Maybe I could have removed the Maleficent, but I think she's a good card as well because she gives you a card and because you can always bring her back with the Fox and the Snake if you need. Maleficent, of course, she gives you a card when she's played. You can bring her back and play her again if you need to, so she's great. And she can also sing Friends on the Other Side. We have 3 crabs here. 3 felt like the right number just because I was running the Fishhooks, so either of those can give a character plus 3 strength, which is really great. Really helps take out a lot of big threats. 5 defense tends to be quite common on some of the end game characters, so she can take out a Maui, she can take out a Maleficent Dragon. Of course, the crab, you can do shenanigans like play the crab and then the next turn Mimfox the crab and then play the crab again and basically give your Mimfox 10 strength to take out locations, which is crazy. Minnie Mouse is really there just to put some lore pressure on your opponent, especially in things like the mirror match with Ruby Amethyst, Ruby Sapphire, where you want to be trying to get as much lore as you can as fast as you can. She's a great card. Combined with the crab, she can take out opposing Minnie Mouses. Combined with the fishhook, she can do the same. 3, again, it felt like the right number. You go through your deck so fast. Ruby Amethyst, so she's great. The Fox, I think the candidate for the most busted card in the game, like the 4 strength, the rush, and the ability to bring something back to your hand is just crazy. Super powerful. Great to take down targets, great to bring things back to your hand, like the Merlin Rabbits, the Merlin Goats, so very strong card. And Maui's Fishhook, this was like a card that saved my butt more times than I probably can admit this weekend. As I mentioned, I played like a crazy Ruby Emerald evasive aggro deck, and if I didn't have the hook, I would have easily lost that one. But it's just great. The versatility of being able to give a character evasive is fantastic, as well as being able to take down locations. Super versatile card, really added a lot of value this weekend. So the 4-drop slot, we have 4 Merlin Goats, 4 Merlin Rabbits, and 4 Queen's Castles. I would say like these 3 cards are the ones that probably won me the most games this weekend. Like obviously Merlin Goat is a guaranteed 2 lore as soon as he's down on the board, which is crazy for finishing out games. I think I mentioned already I won both of my final matches, like the games for the mat and the card with the goat. I played the goat and then hit a Be Prepared, so has that utility as well. So he's great for closing out games, just really puts the pressure on your opponent. Obviously it's a resource game at the end of the day. Whoever has more resources is the one who's going to win. So something like Merlin Rabbit, just again, the goat gives you 2 lore, the rabbit guarantees you 2 cards, and obviously if you keep bringing him back with the snakes and the foxes, then you can just get some crazy card advantage. So that's how I won a lot of games. But really the card that won me the most games was the Queen's Castle. It's just a super great card. Like I know some people's Ruby Amethyst decks maybe run 2 or 3 of these. Honestly, I would put more than 4 in if I could. It's just such a great card. It can be used so many ways. Mainly, I would use it one of 2 ways. So once I was in control of the board, so if I had a couple of characters and my opponent didn't, I would slam down the Queen's Castle, and then it kind of just snowballs from there. You really put the burden on your opponent to be able to remove this, because if they can't, it's just going to give you more card advantage and give you lore at the same time. So it's just really powerful in that sense. It's also something that can kind of force decisions out of your opponent. So playing into Ruby Sapphire, my opponent really wasn't committing to the board. They were holding on to Be Prepared, so I stopped playing characters. I put a Queen's Castle out, and now they have to deal with the castle, otherwise I'm just going to be getting lore that way. So then they played characters and then I played Be Prepared, so it's really good for baiting out those kind of decisions from them. But yeah, it's also good against like aggro. Once you're in control of an aggro game, put down this, put some characters there, and then you're just generating lore, you're generating cards, which gives you more answers to whatever they play. So yeah, honestly, this is the card that won me the most games this weekend. I just absolutely love it. The best location in the game at the moment. Probably will be for the next set as well. It's crazy. In the 5-drop slot, we have 4 Mauis. There's not much to say about this. This card is just absolutely amazing. Obviously, 6 strength on a character, can deal with most things. He can take down locations, often single-handed. If you do need a little bit of extra support, obviously he's got the nice synergy with the fishhook, which can give him more strength, and you can use the ability of it for free if you have a character named Maui in play. Other than that, yeah, he's just a really strong card. Sometimes he can even just sing Friends on the Other Side for you if you need it. So that's great. Not much to say. I think everyone knows how good Maui is. In the 6-drop slot, we have the ladies in red. We have 3 Medusas. We have 2 Lady Tremaines. Actually, this weekend, as I said, I only ran into 1 steel matchup, 1 steel song. So Medusa, obviously her main targets are going to be Beast Tragic Hero, going to be Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood. If you don't have those, she's maybe less useful. She obviously can still target the rabbit, which is what I was using her most of the time to deal with. But had I known the games that I was going to be playing into, I'd maybe have played 3 Lady Tremaines instead of 2 Madame Medusas, but obviously you don't know what the matchups are going to be. So I mean, I'd still, this is still the ratios I'll stick with in the deck, but yeah, they're both just fantastic cards. Obviously, after you play to Be Prepared, if they don't put down 2 characters, then Tremaine is going to eat whatever they just played, which is really good. But kind of like the Castle, it's a card that your opponent has to play around, so that's always really good, just kind of forcing them to make decisions, or in some cases they just won't play cards because they know the Tremaine's coming. Again, fantastic synergy with the Snake and the Fox as well. Like a lot of times I would play Tremaine, then Snake her back to my hand so that my opponent knows I have it, which also kind of plays into the mind games. But again, really good cards. And of course, we have 4 Be Prepareds in the 7-drop slot. Be Prepared is just kind of the thing that keeps this deck running, really. Your opponent can never go too wide because you've always got the threat to Be Prepared. There were a couple of games, certainly in the second game of the final that I played on day 2. I ended up at one point, I think it was by turn 5, I had 4 Be Prepareds in my hand, which really hurt. There was another game, the same thing. I had like loads of Be Prepareds and my opponent was started playing locations. Obviously Be Prepared doesn't deal with the locations. So maybe I'd be tempted to take out a Be Prepared and put in a Scar Vicious Cheater instead, just to kind of make it a little bit more balanced. I don't know, 4 feels really good most of the time. And what was interesting actually this weekend is I didn't play it as much, I didn't use this card as much as I thought I would. Oftentimes the rest of the deck is able to control the board enough, but it's always there as kind of like an emergency card if you need it. And as I said, I used it a couple of times on my goats to close games. So super strong. And yeah, so that's the deck that won me the first place for a couple of tournaments. I think it's a deck, like obviously there's some level of skill to playing it, but I think it doesn't have as high a skill ceiling as some of the other decks. So if you're kind of okay at the game, I think this is still a deck that you can win matches with. I think it punishes your opponent for making mistakes more than it punishes you for making mistakes. So certainly for the next set championships, I don't know what the Ruby Amethyst archetype is going to look like, but I suspect it won't be much different from this, in the same way this is not much different from set 2, but I definitely think it's a really good deck. So yeah, that's it, that's the deck. As I said, this video was just one I wanted to do just to reflect on this weekend because it was such an amazing experience, and as I said, hopefully you can make it to your next set championships. So until then, happy questing.